Discipline in my walk and a groove in my back. That insecurity tried to dim my shine, but I'm not inconsiderate, I just guard what's mine. No conformity, baby, I'm a different design. Move with intention, every step in time. If it's manipulation, I won't play that game. They want submission, but I keep my name. Confidence in my chest, transparency, no stress. I keep it clean, no mess. Ooh, feel it, yes. Give me efficiency in the way we love. Gratitude for the stars up above. Responsibility when it's hard, not easy. No complacency, don't treat me cheesy. I got motivation, I won't placate. Not here to shrink just to make you feel safe. You want predictability, I'm a funky surprise. With comprehension, I can read between lies. When anxiety hits, I breathe and I sway. Practice patience, let it pass, let it fade. Too much surveillance, they be watching my moves, so I choose temperance, keep my cool in the groove. I know what I deserve, I don't beg for applause. Call hypocrisy out, then I dance without pause. Back to harmony, back to harmony, back to harmony, back to harmony tonight.
Hope in my hips and faith in my spine. I was made for purpose and my timing is mine. I'm a rebel with a velvet kind of soul, not obedience to the fear, trying to take control. I pause, then I shine, let the funk show how I'm worth it right here, right now. Have regret in my pocket, threw it out with the trash. Told out, take a seat, cause my joy got class. Potential on the runway, watch me take off clean. No need for acclamation, I'm applauding my dreams. If the world get heavy, I get lighter with my truth. I reframe every moment, turn the ache into the groove. Say healing, say hope, say faith. Now pause, no more abandonment. No, my worth is permanent. I pause and I reframe, let it slide in the light. From suffering to healing, yeah, I'm feeling alright. Got hope in my hips and faith in my spine. I was made for purpose and my timing is mine. I'm a rebel with a velvet kind of soul, not obedience to the fear, trying to take control. I pause, then I shine, let the funk show how I'm worth it right here, right now.
That would help.
We're live.
Oh, we already up?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Let Your Words Count podcast. Actually, good evening. This is episode 68. Is it 68?
Yep.
Episode 68. We are trucking right along. It is another beautiful Monday. Today was like 80 degrees and sunny. I spent most of my day outside, so I'm in a really good mood. I don't know about y'all. Y'all gonna have to catch up. All right, so before we get into it, how was everybody's weekend?
It's pretty good, man.
Anybody do anything interesting or special this weekend?
Nothing interesting, nothing special.
Nothing interesting, nothing
Being
special.
alive.
You said just being alive. That's interesting and special.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Important.
Yep, I went to a friend of mine's wedding, and what else did I do? Oh, I went and I came to your house. We watched several fights until we both fell asleep and were just tapped out. So that was a good time. It was a great weekend for me.
What kind of fight? What venue?
We actually watched boxing. We watched Tyson Fury. So he had his glorious comeback.
Okay.
Listen, he put on a boxing clinic.
Yes, he did.
He did a really good job. And then there was a lot of good fights on that card. And then we switched from there to MMA. So we watched the UFC broadcast, and that was really cool too.
Okay.
I didn't catch it all. I fell asleep. But anyway, it was good. And that was my weekend. Yeah, it was a good weekend.
Absolutely.
Sounds like you guys don't do anything on the weekend. I guess we'll just skip over that and move right along. Everybody doing well?
Ethan got to some honeydews for me, so I appreciate that.
Oh, you did some chores.
Awesome.
Okay, that's what's up. Good.
stuff.
Nice. Ethan's cultivating a happy household. That's always a good thing.
Always.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Always.
Everybody doing well, emotionally, physically, mentally. You don't have to go into it, but hopefully everybody's doing well.
Yes, and yes.
All right, bet. Okay, well, let's jump right into it. Today's word is attention. This is episode 68. And you guys know the drill by now. We're going to jump into the definition of the word, the history of it. We're going to do a parable, I think.
Yes.
That's something that we're doing a little new. You got that ready, G? All right, we're going to jump over to it. Take it away.
All right. The parable we have is a street performer sets up in a crowded plaza. Two people pass by. One pauses, watches, and is moved by the music. The other walks past, absorbed in their phone, never noticing it. The performance was the same, but the experiences were completely different. What changed wasn't the world, it was where their attention lived. That's it.
Okay. Wow. Can I have a Kleenex from over there?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, that's literally defines attention and how modern technology or modern standards have kind of guided us to a point where our attentions are usually wrapped in whatever we are doing, as opposed to, external things, the beauty that we can see just by walking down the street and seeing somebody playing music or even a bird singing.
For sure.
I spent quite a bit of time the other day, yesterday actually, at my parents' house. Oh, that's another thing I did this weekend. I put together a new smoker for my mom. She's really excited.
That's good.
Yep. But anyway, I spent some time over there yesterday, and there was this black bird, and from far away, the bird was black. But for whatever reason, I just decided to pay attention to this bird. It was just sitting by the back porch at the house. And if you look at it, when you get a little closer, you can see that the head is kind of like a iridescent blue, and then the torso part of it, like the wings in the back, were kind of like yellowish, and then towards the bottom of the bird, it was kind of like orange and red, but it was black from far away. It was amazing. I had never seen anything like it.
Wow.
I spent about a half an hour looking at this bird because my sister was like, "What is going on?" So she came outside, and we both looking at it. Then my father came outside, and the three of us were staring at this bird. But
Nice.
I would have never noticed it if I had my head down, scrolling, things like that. And so I was able to experience a moment of beauty simply because I chose to let my attention be in the moment where I actually was.
Awesome.
And so I think that speaks a lot to the parable that you had. And by the way, that's all I have to say for the entire
And he take a sip. One thing that I was thinking about as well is the with attention. I was thinking about the word we used before was intentional. So it seems like, and that's something that we can discuss when we get in the etymology, the definition, and when we start doing our discussion, because I do want to tie in being intentional with attention. All right, what do you guys think about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Sounds good to
I
me,
love
man.
that. I think everything can be tied to intention. Every positive and negative act or behavior, we can tie it into intention. And so I think that's important to kind of loop in whenever we think of it.
Yeah. All right, let's get started, y'all.
All right, so we're going first with the definition, right?
Our attention definition is the act of focusing awareness on a particular object, thought, or activity. Attention is the act of focusing awareness on a particular object, thought, or activity. Okay?
All right.
Focusing awareness. I love that.
Yep.
All right, let's get to etymology.
Etymology, our resident language expert.
Oh, yes.
Get you
I'll get right to it. You want to turn that over so I can see it? Okay, I got it. Okay, the etymology for the word attention comes from the Latin word attendere, with the prefix ad or toward, and the suffix tendere or to stretch. So, in other words, to stretch toward. Attention literally Pardon me, guys. Attention literally means to stretch the mind toward something.
Of it.
I like that. That's really well put. Stretch the mind toward something.
All right, and we got the emotional lens. All right, Tamara, you want to do it? Or you want me to do it? All right.
No, you can do it.
All right. The emotional lens, my favorite. Feeling, positive, negative. Positive is focus, clarity, presence, intentional. I can't even say it. Intentionality.
There you go.
There we go. Negative is distraction, fixation, and overwhelm. Why? Because attention determines what we notice, and what we notice shapes how we feel and respond.
What was that? Distraction, fixation, and what else?
Overwhelm.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
Uncle James, how you like being put on the spot there?
It looks like G was about to say something.
Oh,
No, I think one of the important things is, like, it mentioned distraction as one of the negatives, and we talked about like intentionality, and I think that the connection for those to me is that, and where I think the importance of the word comes out, because you mentioned intentionality, and I think we have to learn to treat our attention as a resource. Learn to treat our attention as a resource, because I don't think it's something we give enough time to. When we use the example in the parable, right, of somebody walking and they're scrolling in their phone, and because they're scrolling in their phone, they're missing something else that's happening around them. And we tend to go hard on like cell phones a lot for stuff like that, but it's not, the distractions aren't just from technology. There is the ability to be, there's the ability to kind of be distracted off of things that are not technological at all. It could be off of a certain type of messaging or a certain, commentator or whatever. It could be a lot of other things that are not technology that can still catch your attention. And there's like these concepts, like if you look at like Tai Chi or like some of the other like Aikido and things like that, there's a lot of focus in martial arts like that where you can direct a part of the body, a wrist or a joint or a person's head, and where you direct a part of their body, if you have enough force with it, the rest of the body's going to follow. So I think that that's one of those things that happens with attention, is that if you're not careful, if you're not paying attention, if you're not intentional about where your attention is going, you can be led somewhere without thinking about it. There's like this chance for like a covert obedience or covert instructions if you're not managing your attention properly, right?
Yeah. Speaking of those things, you were the person that selected this word for today. Is that kind of the direction that your that you kind of wanted to start to guide the conversation, or what led you to select that word?
It's something I've been studying, but I wanted to see what else, came to you all's attention to. What else came to you all's, your minds about it as well. I've been looking at it a lot, but, just wanted to, again, kind of pick from you all as well. So, what are you thinking?
No, I agree with you. It's interesting that you use the similarities between like martial arts or certain martial arts, but like there's this proverb that says where the eyes look, the body will follow. I believe that's how it goes. But it literally speaks to attention.
Yes.
What you focus on, what you direct your attention to. I'm pretty sure we're going to dive into how tightly focus and attention are linked together. But anyway, what you focus on, what you direct yourself toward, in terms of attention, is exactly, like you said, is exactly where you will follow.
That's right.
With your energy, with your time, with your behavior and things like that.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know which word you used. I don't know if you use attention as an asset or something along those lines.
Like a resource.
As a resource, yes. I think it's spot on with respect to that, because within attention, especially when you control it, it comes choice, because you prioritize, you value something.
Yes.
And so, as I think we had stated earlier, sometimes we choose to focus on something. Other times, something draws, possibly or potentially can draw us away.
Yes.
And so then, even with that, we should be intentional to make sure that we assign proper value as to whether or not we should draw our focus away from what we were currently looking at onto something else.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I love that. That's perfect. So like, it's possible to have your attention on more than one thing.
Sure.
You can have your attention on your family, and you can have your attention on your career, and you can have your attention on, whatever else. Obviously it's a resource, and it is a finite resource.
Yes, it is.
Which means that you have to be able to parse it out properly and prioritize, which is what you were speaking on. But the way that focus locks in or comes into play is, I've heard it described like this. Focus is defined by the amount of things that you say no to with your attention or with your energy. So the more things I say no to, the more things I take my energy and attention away.
I love that.
The more narrow that beam of focus gets on whatever it is that I am trying to move my focus toward.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
I like that.
And so that speaks to exactly what you're saying. Like, I can have attention on a few things, but if I'm not prioritizing and saying no to things that don't matter as much, or things that may be looking to kind of draw me away or distract me, let's say, because that's the, what is that? What's the word? Antithesis to attention? I believe that's it. If we say no to those things that are looking to distract us, then we're able to put our attention in places that are aligned with the goals and the direction that we're choosing to go in life.
Absolutely right.
One thing that came to my mind as you just said that was, because I believe in the definition that we use the word awareness with respect to focus.
Yes.
But to your point, Mike, with multiple things, we can be aware of multiple things while we focus on a particular item.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the awareness is general, but then again, it can be specific on something as well. You can be in a room and you're aware of a lot of different things that are going on, but you may be focusing on a particular thing for whatever reason you choose to focus on that one thing. And so it shows the ability to multitask, and to set priorities, if you will, on what's important and what's not as important.
Absolutely.
I got a question for you guys, because I'm looking at the emotional lens again, and I see focus and fixation. What do you guys think? Because they sound close to me, but what do you guys think the finite differences are for those? What do you guys think?
To me, I think that comes back to like fixation. And we've talked recently about like ADD and like OCD, things like that. There's certain mental health terms that kind of speak to the impulse of a person. That is sometimes it may feel like it's less in your control. Something that captures and grabs your attention and holds you before you're aware of it, before you're sitting there and thinking and recognizing that, wait a minute, I'm putting attention on this thing. Do I really want to?
Yep.
Does it value me? Or does it value me? Is it a value to me? Is it something I can make use of? Is it something important to me? And that's why, like, in looking at this word a lot lately, I've been finding a lot more strength, I guess, to kind of, that's not the right word, but like a will to resist. And I find myself, like, I'm going on my phone to kind of look up one thing, and I get caught up looking at some other story, and I've been able to kind of stop and realize more often, like, this isn't anything I wanted to look at. I didn't come here for this. I don't care about this even. Why am I even reading the story? And then go back to what I was intending to do. So I think that fixation it points to another one of those vulnerabilities with attention, is that if you're not treating it as a resource, if you're not discerning and guarding of your attention and where it goes, thinking of it as a resource for you, if you're not careful and not thinking about that, you're going to find that all kind of things are vying for your attention all the time. And that's because the focused awareness, the attention of a human being is a valuable thing. Otherwise, companies wouldn't be paying as much as they are to get hold of your attention. So to me, focus is more like that willful, I'm putting my mind on this one thing, whereas fixation might be, I can't stop thinking about this thing no matter how much I'm trying to kind of put my attention elsewhere.
And along with what you, and along what you just said, one of the companies just got sued for that same purpose. I think it was a 20-year-old that said that she, and when you said fixation, that came to my mind. So yes, they feel it worthwhile to do what they do to get your attention, to get you to be fixated.
Yes.
But then there's a responsibility, or should be a responsibility that goes with that as well.
And that hasn't happened, right? That's been a focus of a lot of companies and all of the social media companies. And I know we've talked amongst ourselves, but there's a documentary on Netflix called The Social Experiment, I think. Is that what it is?
Something close to that.
And it talks about
Dilemma.
social dilemma. Thank you. Social dilemma. And it talks about that. It talks about the intent of these companies and setting it in their business model and the way that they operate. And they put time and resources and energy and psychological studies into how do we manage to capture somebody's attention and keep it as long as possible. And for the kind of the video and some other stuff I was studying that kind of got me thinking about this topic more, it said a lot of things we'll kind of visit throughout the course of this podcast, but one of the things that grabbed me the most was, talking about if you find yourself doom scrolling, you find yourself scrolling through a feed constantly, can't look up from it, or you should be doing something else and you're not. When you find yourself doom scrolling, and then when you realize it and put it down, you feel exhausted. You feel drained.
Right.
And that's what it was saying, is like you have been drained, but it said it's more so than you being drained, you've been harvested. You've taken your life force, your focused awareness, and your attention, which is a resource of your consciousness. You've taken and you spent it on these useless things that don't mean anything to you. Don't do anything good for you, right? And you've given so much of yourself to that by the time you're done, you feel worn out and spent, mentally tired and everything else. That hit me because it's like I've been there so many times thinking, well, I'm just up late, I'm just not tired, I'm whatever. And you start spending your energy towards something, and it's just like, it really snapped me back into place to start thinking about and being more discerning and caring about my attention. Right?
So someone has designed their whatever it is to steal your time.
Yes, absolutely.
And they're counting on you not noticing what's going on.
Which is why we want to talk about it, right? Absolutely right.
Mike, I kept cutting you off. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No worries. I'll just sit here and be quiet. All right. So I think, to answer your question, E, I think the way that I would define it, and it speaks to the way that Gary defined it as well, but I think to put it succinctly, fixation is focus without intention.
That's kind of
I'm locked in on something that I didn't choose or set my intention to be locked in on. Something has grabbed my awareness and my attention, and I've said no to everything else except this thing without me really being cognizant of it. Like I can even be aware that I'm locked in on something. You know what you're doing when you're doom scrolling.
For sure.
Some part of you is aware that you're wasting time. But the fact of the matter is that it's not necessarily something that you intended to do. So like you said, you might, I find myself all the time I'll open a social media app to try to find a clip that I watched earlier in the day or something that I saw yesterday so I can send it to one of y'all or something like that, or just to revisit it. And the way that it's designed, as soon as I open the app, I've already forgot what I was even getting on there for. And then next thing I know, I'm 10 minutes in and you know, that type of thing. And that's fixation because I'm focused on this thing. I've kind of let the outside world kind of go to wherever it's going to go, and I'm focused on this thing without setting my intention there.
Gotcha.
Love it.
You about to say something?
And you know, one of the embarrassing things to me is, you know, your phone tells you how long you, they tell you how long you've been.
Yeah.
I've literally been embarrassed for myself.
Same.
Yeah.
Same
I
here.
said, where did that time go? Because I know I didn't do anything worthwhile.
Exactly.
And I know that there's
That's the part
something
that
else I
stings.
could have, should have been doing, and really want to do. So then it really, if I were to do it right, I have to get into some self-examination now. Why did I allow myself to do what I know I shouldn't have been doing, because I could have been doing something better? Not that how I was spending my time was wrong per se, but I could have been doing something better.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. So, like, I've come to those conclusions as well. And it took me some time to realize that beating myself up in those moments or feeling like I've somehow, messed up the plan or the process or whatever is not fruitful. It's not really a helpful way to think about it. It's just a matter of pivoting from that place to say, okay, well, that was weird. I would like to not do that again. And then the next time I set my intention to do better the next time I have free time or the next time I do pick up my phone or whatever. You know?
Interesting.
Yep.
Would you call that, because it's kind of spot on what I was talking about, what you guys were saying is kind of what's in my mind, because I was thinking about the word false focus.
Okay.
I was looking at it as kind of like a false focus, you know, and that kind of helped me with the fixation. You know, if I think of fixation as false focus, that means that something is robbing you of your time or whatever the case may be. That's just something that was
So I think, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, so like going back to your earlier point, G, with certain neurodivergence, there can be a tendency to hyperfixate.
Yes.
And it's extremely common, and it's more common now that we have things like social media and stuff like that, because you can lock in for hours and be
so
gone. But here's the thing. If you first of all, if you recognize that you have that tendency, and I've recognized that in myself, this is why I'm speaking on it, but you set intention to it, it turns into a superpower, because now you can learn anything in record time.
Yes.
Because when you hyperfixate on it, all you do is just dig, you know? And so I say that to say that you can even take what some people may consider to be a handicap and turn it into something that allows you to master the world around you, or master yourself, you know, even better. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things I was thinking also, and I know we've gotten on the scrolling part, I was thinking that it's pleasure without discipline. Because at some level, we're taking pleasure in what we're doing.
Yeah.
Even if we're looking at, say, oh, I shouldn't be looking at this, but of course you keep looking.
Yeah, it's drugs.
Yeah, it's drugs. It really is.
Yeah.
But it's pleasure without discipline.
Right.
Okay? But we do know that there is a pleasure that comes through discipline as well.
Right.
But see, that takes even more focus. It takes more attention to deny the utilization of your time without discipline.
Yes.
Because it's easier to do what you want and it doesn't cost you anything.
That's right. That's right.
But it's more important, because the things that are of higher value, it takes discipline.
Yes, it does.
And once we really get that in our mind, then to me, we now should have the ability to see it as it is and say, even though there's pleasure in that thing, I have to let it go, because it's something else that when I put in the work, if you will, or the discipline, what I'm going to get back is far greater than what I'm doing here.
Absolutely right.
Absolutely right.
That's really good. Yeah.
Yep. And that's why I think it's, the point of valuing your attention, right? The point of counting it as something that can be spent that can be used up, that can, run out eventually, right? It is why we want to pay attention and realize when it's all kind of things you hear like in the tech world and stuff like that too. Like if you are seeing an ad and it's not selling a product, that's because you are the product. Corporate structures realize how powerful human attention is. And that's why they've monetized it. That's why there are companies that are entirely built around your user profile on your phone or on your computer. What ads did you click? What stopped you scrolling to read a story or look at a picture? What sites do you tend to go to? Your data has become one of the most valuable resources now because it's it's the things that either you choose to give your attention to, or more importantly, the things that they can put in front of you to forcefully take your attention. That's the entire reason that some whole companies exist, is to figure out how do we manipulatively and subvertly gather or gain somebody's attention when they're not really aware of it, and how do we hold on to it and monetize that. And that's where, if we're not valuing the attention that we have, and I'm kind of getting to a bigger point with that too, because it can start off, it can look like something as innocent as I'm just on my phone and I got caught up looking at somebody's gossip or their story about what's happening with their lives. They got a new car. It could be meaning things like that. Politics too, right?
That's the big one.
Yep. So it could be something like that. But then too, on that kind of political spectrum and things like that, the things that gather your attention, if you're not careful of how much attention you give to them, it becomes a means of gaining your obedience. If we're not aware of the things we're attending to, what you spend a lot of your time on, you're not going to be able to help but to start adopting some of those mindsets, accepting some of their conclusions and their labels. You start to unintentionally become a servant of those things that you're attending to, whether or not you're conscious and aware of it. And that's where, again, it becomes important, because I might start taking on somebody else's ideals, conclusions, thoughts, labels, enemies, and everything else because I'm listening and not aware of the fact that I'm being harvested, I'm being controlled, I'm being manipulated in some way. And if we don't value our attention, we don't even recognize it. We say that we're in the information age, and this was another one of those important points from that resource that I got. We're in the information age. Information consumes attention. So if we're in the information age and information is abundant and it's everywhere and it's overwhelming and overflowing, the thing that starts to suffer is a lack of attention. There's not attention to put towards any good thing or anything that you have intention toward, because you spent so much of your attention on these things that don't matter or that you're not aware are sucking up all of your time. Right, so it's like it leads to this kind of obedience thing if we're not careful about where we're spending and recognizing where it's getting used up.
Yeah.
Very good.
There's another point there that, in addition to that, so like there's this, the book Stillness is the Key, author Ryan Holiday. He wrote about, and I can't remember where the original quote from, but that's where I got it from, so that's what I'm going to quote. But anyway, he says that an overabundance of information, basically it leads to nothing really having any real importance.
Yes.
Because if you're just overloaded with constant information, then how do you discern which things to prioritize? How do you decide what's important, what you should let go of, what you should ignore completely, things like that. And that speaks to attention.
And that's also part of media's key role right now. Because when it's that ability to flood you and overwhelm you, like every technological system is designed to do right now, it's designed to overwhelm your ability to kind of take in and hold information. Because once you start getting overwhelmed by that and you start to shut down, whether or not you realize it, you get so overwhelmed with thinking all these things and processing all this information that you're looking for something simple. You start looking for somebody to give you a simple answer to this thing you've been spending so much time consuming all this information on, and I'm lost and I'm confused. This person says this person says this. That's also a mechanism to wear your defenses down, to make you more receptive and say, okay, this person can maybe take about an hour or two worth of me flooding them until they give up thinking about this thing, and now they're looking for somebody to simplify it or to reaffirm with the things they already thought beforehand. And people that are, again, media companies are designed, they're multi-billion-dollar industries for a reason, because they're designed to purposely overwhelm, overload you to where your defenses are worn down. Now you're like, somebody explain this to me. Somebody simplify this for me because I'm tired of thinking of it. And it's that same thing about, that's, again, it's a resource. Your attention is a resource. You're worn down and tired because them throwing all these things at your attention and you not being disciplined enough and intentional enough to gather it back. You've now spent it on all these things that don't matter. Now you're looking for somebody to come and give you an easy way out. Right?
So I got a question. Like, I think that has a lot to do with leadership as well. I think those are leadership issues as well. Because a lot of times where people don't know, they don't necessarily know, but they're looking unto some authority figure to give them the answer when the authority, the person in authority, is overwhelmed by so much stuff as well. And so when you see countries and cities, governments and different things like that in shambles, it's because those that are in control are overwhelmed by so much information and advisory that's coming to them.
Yes.
So how do you fix that? You know what I mean? It's kind of like going back to the attention part. How do we fix an issue to point to the right things to pay attention to? You know what I mean? I don't have an answer for that. I can only speak on my own self, right? But when you're talking about a large scale, mass scale of thousands, millions of people or whatnot, I mean, and going back to what you said about the technology side, once you put this thing in their hands, this is your harness right there, right? This is your harness. Or you're being harvested.
Yes.
And a harness.
For sure.
For sure. You're like, bloop, right there. You're like, beep, beep, beep. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what it is. You know, but in all, you know, I wasn't really supposed to laugh at that, man, but it's the truth, though.
It is, bro. That's how it is.
So I was just thinking about like that in that regard. I think you made a couple of good points, man, and I appreciate that, man. Anybody else?
Well, I see a couple of different things along with what you just said, especially since you mentioned the word media. But I'm going to take the second one first. What you just said, Ethan, about how can you change?
Yeah.
Not that we should give the ability to draw our attention to the media, but seeing that they do what they do, as Gary said, they do such a good job of doing what they do. If we are intentional on what we choose to look at and what we choose not to look at, then those algorithms are going to change.
Yes,
okay,
that's exactly right.
So, for example, you hear people squawking about media, you know. But one of the things I think about this from time to time. This story was in the news, and it was in the news cycle for a particular period of time. Then all of a sudden you don't hear about it anymore because they moved on to another one. And you know that the first one hasn't been resolved yet. Right. You know it hasn't been resolved yet. Right. But yet you don't hear about it anymore. It's as if it dropped off the face of the earth, so to speak, and it's not an issue anymore. Another thing I think about is there are more countries in this world than just one or two or three. And sometimes I think about there's got to be some wonderful things going on in other parts of the world. And so then to be intentional, we do have with our millions of channels available to us on cable, the ability to look at news, if you will, from other places, just to see what's going on. That's something that's intentional. It shows that we're aware that there are other things going on and that we make choices not to allow what's being fed to us to control our attention and focus.
Absolutely. And then also, in addition to that, you asked how is it possible to, something along the lines of, get people to kind of divert their attention away from the things that would distract them. My thought is you don't. Every person has to decide and be intentional for themselves.
I agree with
what deserves their attention, and here's why. Because if you or I, start to instruct people on what to look at and where to look and things like that, then we're doing the same thing that we're telling them to avoid in the first place. You know what I mean? Because what right do I have to tell you what to pay attention to versus anybody else telling you what to pay attention to?
That's very good.
And it becomes, from that sense, it becomes an individual journey. It becomes something where you have to look inward and realize what your values are, what your priorities are, and then put your attention and energy towards things that build that in that direction.
I love that.
Yeah, but I think those that know that this is going on, like we're discussing it here, I think at some level they can or should at least influence from the standpoint of saying, hey guys, there's more out there.
Yes, of making people aware.
You can
So
make the
increasing
choice as to
awareness.
what you choose to focus on.
Exactly.
But know that if you continue to do what you're currently doing,
Yes.
someone else is driving your attention.
Yes, exactly. I'm glad that you added that part. The role of the let's call them the enlightened ones is to simply bring light. It's to bring awareness. That's what light is representative of. It's light. It's representative of awareness. And so once you've been made aware that this is what's happening, this is where, let's say, let's use the example on the table where media is pulling your attention to or from. Once that has been established, like you said, then that becomes the thing that is that relies on the individual themselves to decide what they want to pay attention to.
Yep, I love it.
But that's when you have no excuse. Because once you know, you can't unknow.
That's so true. I agree with that.
But knowing gives you power.
Exactly.
And I'm not trying to be, because
knowledge is power. Schoolhouse
knowledge
rock.
is power. There you go. There you go. But it really is important because when you have that knowledge, then it reinforces in you that I am an individual that has the ability to make choices.
Yes.
And that also I don't have to go along with everyone else just because it's a popular path to follow.
Right.
That I can make certain choices that please me, even if no one else is going with me. And then the flip side of that is then what you get in return. You have something that maybe not a whole lot of other people are aware of because they're going down the broad path of everyone else goes, and then we're flipping and you get into those fight things where this one's fighting and then that one, and then you want to see the next one, But, and it's like, I know I shouldn't be doing this. I know I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
As I'm still doing it, I know I shouldn't be doing it. And at some level, you have to say, wait a minute. I actually see what I'm doing. And I see, because it's not seen as addictive as pharmaceuticals or drugs are.
But it's actually more addictive.
It's actually more
it is.
addictive. though.
Far more
is.
addictive.
It's more addictive.
Yes. The way that those reward systems from social media trigger our brains, it's I can't remember the exact chemical cocktail that it was described as when I was researching it before, but like it's something akin to like a mixture of like heroin, cocaine, and caffeine or something like that. Yeah, together, which are some of the most addictive compounds on the planet.
But as I was thinking though, when you fight that battle and withdraw yourself, then now you have to learn yourself and learn what pleases you, where your interests are.
Yes.
And that can be fulfilling. That's even more so fulfilling.
Very cool.
It is fulfilling. Okay, I'm very glad you jumped over there. Okay, so not only is it, so yes, it is fulfilling. At the same time, it's terrifying for people who have learned to be lazy and just accept the dopamine that they get, the reward that they get from some external source like phones or media or whatever else it might be. It's terrifying to sit with yourself long enough because it takes time. It's scary to sit with yourself long enough to learn where you need to pivot, to learn where your attention should actually be going to get you to the direction to point you in the direction that you're looking to go. Because at that point, you really don't even know. Like you have to stop and take the time to even know which direction you're trying to get to, which is, it's a process. And similar to coming down off of, some other addiction, it comes with withdrawals, and it comes with tough moments, and it comes with sacrifice, and it comes with pain and discomfort. But those things are what seem like a downside when it really is just kind of like the proving grounds to the success that you're really looking for in life. And that could be internal or whatever when I say success. But it's so much easier. It's so much easier in the short term to just be lazy and allow your attention to be wherever it flows, because you get, like you said, the way that systems around us in this day and age have been designed. They're designed to give us pleasure
without discipline.
I love it.
Yes, exactly.
You know, I was thinking about when you said about being intentional with your thoughts and different things. I was thinking about identity at the same time. I was thinking about knowing your identity when you are giving your attention and your power over to this source, so to speak, right? And all that energy is kind of like absorbing, that source is absorbing all your power, your energy and whatnot. And like you said, about being terrified to escape from that or detach yourself from that.
Detach, yeah.
I was thinking about the identity that someone given you with the attention that you've placed on. Like someone is actually someone or something is possibly creating an identity for you.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? And that's something that a person that wants to be out, have to recognize that, like, I don't want to do this no more, like you said. But you have to realize, like, okay, well, who am I? You know what I'm saying? Like who am I?
One of the
go ahead.
One of the things that comes to mind when you say that is like the way that specifically social media, not just social media, all media tends to be polarizing in this particular, I guess maybe forever. I don't know. I wasn't around a long time ago, but based on history, I guess it is. It's been something that's been going on for humankind as long as there have been things like governments and stuff like that. But so, for instance, you said creating an identity that I'm not really aware that is being molded for me. That's where you get things like people who don't know how to decide that you don't have to be liberal or conservative. You can be anywhere in the middle. Right. You know what I mean? Yep. You don't have to be, I don't know, you don't have to be, that's the only thing I can think of. You know why I say that? Because almost everything falls in those things. Yeah, I was thinking about 3 or 4 different things, and I'm like, oh, they all fall under the liberal or conservative. But that's just it. Right. Like I can be, for instance, a person could be a conservative that is okay with abortion. They could be somebody that is a Christian that doesn't go to church. Somebody could be, you know what I'm saying? Like we have these things that are like, if you're going to be with us, you got to be with us, and you got to follow everything on the bullet point checklist in order to be with us. And we're social creatures to the degree that it feels uncomfortable for us when we go against people who are quote unquote our tribe. You know what I mean? Or we have something that's different. I remember I texted a group chat with some friends of mine. I went to Arizona earlier this year.
Beautiful.
And I texted, oh man,
I love Arizona.
Oh my goodness, we should do a podcast on the Southwest of the U.S. Anyway, I texted in the group chat like, I'm on a hike, took a picture or whatever, and one of the responses that I got was like, "You must have forgot where you come from. Like black people don't hike," and I was like,
"Man."
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. I understand that mindset because that's the identity that was handed to all of us. You know what I'm saying? At a certain point, I decided for myself as an individual, a black man, yes, an American, but also somebody that likes to be outdoors, and I love hiking. Yeah. And there are, an innumerable amount of things that we can decide as individuals that we don't have to say or do just to fit into some specific camp that we're a part of. You know what I mean?
Can I add something to that, man?
Yeah.
I love that, bro. Like the thing is, I was thinking about my kids and I and Tamara, we went over John the Baptist yesterday. So we was reading up on John the Baptist. Like John the Baptist to me is key in the scripture. Absolutely key. He is like the linchpin from the old mindset, so to speak, to the new mindset that we see, the old to the new. And when you look at John, he made a conscious choice to be in the wilderness. Conscious choice to eat locusts and honey. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, what did he wear? Yeah, I'm sure people scolded him about his attire, maybe smell. If you're in the wilderness, man, you know. So I'm kind of looking at those
Animal
types.
skins.
We're wearing animal skins and different things like that. So when you talk about an identity, nobody gave him his identity. He chose to go out there, so to speak. And maybe you can say he was led by God in some type of way to go out there. But I'd rather be led from that. He accepted that and that was a choice that he made. And what I think about John the Baptist, even Jesus spoke highly of him anyway. He said, there's no greater prophet than him. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important for us to look at John sometimes and say, I don't have to look like everybody else. I don't have to wear the same, clothing and materials and different things like that. I could think with my own mind. You know what I mean? And look what happened. He actually drew people that was considering like, what is this man talking about? You know, and it opened the door for conversation. And I think that attention right there was from his point of view, was valuable, right? Because there was fruit that came from that, from him being intentional as an individual, being intentional with the attention that he was placed for his what I want to say,
His calling,
so to speak, right? Yeah, not so to speak. Yes, his calling, you know. And what you're saying is powerful, man. I think that what all we're saying is, I think I had trouble with this word at first. The reason being is a lot of times when you say attention, you think, I already know what attention is, right? No, but when you start talking about, you said, are you using it as a resource or are you using it as an asset? I'm like, I never even went down that path, right? You know what I'm saying? With attention, because immediately with attention, you think, am I pointing at this? Am I putting my energy and my effort and my eyes on this? Yes, I'm paying attention to that. I just got off a call today about a troubleshooting. You know, once again, I work in the automotive industry and warranty. And we had this issue open for 360 days, right? A year. And that's ridiculous if you're still making a product or whatnot. Now, all the actions have been completed. All the corrective actions have been completed. It's just that someone wasn't paying attention enough to realize that the issue was closed. You see what I'm saying? So why am I saying that? It's intention in everything that we do. You know what I'm saying? Or even the smallest details. You know what I'm saying? I actually believe and I know God is paying attention right now. He's he pays attention and he's intentional. And if that's the case, I believe that we should be just as well intentional and pay attention to the things as well. I think G was talking about earlier, we were having a discussion, and he was talking about how our Creator is focused, his wisdom and his knowledge focus even on in the universe, so to speak, in a cell. If you look at how a cell operates, if you get that microscope and even a powerful microscope and you can see living organisms and how the neutrons and the electrons and the protons kind of work with one another, you know, to build, it's actually happening within us right now. You see what I'm saying? That's a world in itself. And that's not only intentional, but we need to pay attention to that to keep it going. So now I have to say to myself, now that I know that I look in this microscope and I see all of these organisms moving and electrons firing off electricity and energy and things, I think I want to keep that going. So I think I need to value what goes into my mouth. I think I need to pay attention to, you know, what's behind these ingredients or whatnot, because I haven't done that. That's right. I haven't done that. I actually neglected in some type of way. That's another word for attention. Right. I neglected on the other side, right? I've neglected my body. Right. You know what I'm saying? Since I'm going to be here for a certain amount of time, let's make it as easy as possible and not as rough. You see what I'm saying? Absolutely. Okay, I'm done.
And going back to your parable from the beginning, and based on what you just said, there are things of value out there, but are you allowing yourself to take advantage of the value that's been made available to you?
Very good. Right. Very good. Absolutely right. I want to go back a little bit. So earlier in the podcast, you mentioned maintaining awareness of multiple things while focusing on one thing in particular, or on fewer things. And then you said that brings about the action of multitasking. So I want to get your thought on how multitasking actually can work, because there are very, very differing schools of thought on whether or not multitasking is even possible. So I just want to get your thoughts on that since you used that term.
Okay, well, I'll try to answer your question, but I think I use it in the term awareness of many things, but focusing on one.
Okay.
Okay, but when you get into multitasking, then okay, if I can be aware of something without doing anything about it. So if someone was sitting on that little small stool over there, I could be aware that they're there, but I don't have to do anything with it. But because sometimes being a conversationalist, for example, you can engage more than one person in the room, and you're not necessarily talking about the same thing with each person. Okay, so I don't know if that's a good example of multitasking, but so with this person, it could be a child, and I may play with them a little bit, say something like this, maybe have a ball and throw it over there, then come back to you because we were talking about something else. Okay, so to me, in some form, that's a way of multitasking. I'm aware of different people and how I can interact with them. And so, of course, I can't talk out of the same mouth two different things at the same time, but I'm taking focus from one to the other. But to be aware of something doesn't mean you have a task of doing anything with it. So I don't know if I'm really answering your question or not.
Yeah, that answered it. So the reason why I ask is because the idea is that, well, some person's idea, not mine, this is just something that I'm repeating, is that there is the idea of multitasking, which is actually task switching, which is like, quick, rapid succession between this task and that, between throwing the ball and having a conversation, as opposed to doing both things literally at the same time. But having said that, I could see myself throwing a ball with a kid and having I've done that, and having a conversation at the same time. And the reason why I thought it was important to kind of touch on that is because that speaks to attention. That speaks to the fact that our attention can be in more than one place at the same time.
Oh, it definitely. I'm sorry for cutting you off. You just made
Sure.
me think about something, because I think you mentioned that in the minuses or the negatives, because I think we've all done this at work, where I'm working and I kick off a job, so I'm waiting for the simulation to come back. So then I go to my emails, and so then I read an email and say, okay, I can do something. I check to see if the simulation's come back. No, it hasn't. And then sometimes it's like, how many balls do you have in the air? Okay, and at some point you realize I've forgotten something. So at some point you become overwhelmed, and then I have to make a conscious choice to say, stop, and maybe just do one or two things. Because you call yourself trying to be efficient and trying to handle all of these things at the same time. But after a while, you realize you should have done something, but you didn't. And I kicked this simulation off. And then now I have to wait 3, 4, 5 minutes for it to come back. And I know that it's not going to come back the way I wanted to because I forgot to do something. I've just wasted time now. Because even though I was focused on a couple of different things, but I wasn't focused enough to be efficient in everything that I was doing.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Very good.
Very good. That speaks to like how Gary was saying earlier, like attention is a finite resource. I look at it like bandwidth. There's only so much bandwidth that any of us has at any particular time and over the course of time. And so being able to figure out how to, like we talked about earlier, prioritize and discern, we're able to kind of eliminate or at least reduce some of those mistakes and missteps. I agree with that.
Yeah. And I think that's the point of why we bring up words like this, and again, we kind of always kind of do like a review of why we're doing this, but it's about empowerment, right? For the words we talk about, it's a lot of times about things that people may encounter and think they don't have any defense over, or think they don't have, thank you, as nervous habit, think they don't have control over certain things. And it's about recognizing that, no, there are things that are constantly trying to get your attention, but you can take control and decide, I'm going to put my attention in this one place or another. And again, in what you mentioned earlier with that book, Stillness is Key, where things like that are important, is because, we're not telling you have to stop giving your attention here. It's about be aware of how many things are trying to get your attention, are trying to get your finite resources, and then you have to make a decision. Are you okay with that? Because if you're okay with being harvested all the time, and taking all the energy and resources you have and giving them over into somebody that's trying to get your mindset in a certain place, or your time or your money, whatever else, if you're okay with that, then by all means do what you do. But for the people that are being harvested like that and are not aware, this is just a wake-up call. It's about being aware and then choosing for yourself. Do you choose for your resources, your energy, to go into that thing that maybe you weren't recognizing was consuming so much of your time and energy? Or do you decide that in those quiet, still moments, I want to do something different? I'd like to spend the resources I have towards something that I see as being valuable, I see as being beneficial, I see as being the thing that I want to contribute and dedicate and focus my life to, because this thing is meaningful to me, and this thing that was trying to grab my attention really is not. It's all about be aware. That's all we're here to say, be aware. And in being aware, seek to take responsibility, seek to be accountable, seek to push for the outcome that you see as the best you. Right. That's the only reason why we're talking about a lot of these things.
Beautiful.
So, wonderful. The mic has been dropped.
Yes. All right. Anybody want to close?
All right. Let's close. Thank you for joining us. This has been a Let Your Words Count podcast, episode 68. The word we've been talking about today is the word attention. Some really good information. I hope that it was valuable for you guys as it was for us. We love having these conversations. Did you hear my stomach?
That was your stomach.
That's the dinner bell.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're going to go ahead and sign off for the evening. We'll see you guys next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or shortly after. Don't forget to check out egprodx.com. Don't forget to check out what is it? What's the website for Let Your Words Count?
LetYourWordsCount.channel.
.channel. There we go.
Gmail.
No. The website.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Huh?
LetYourWordsCount.com. Thank you, Tamara. Ethan fell asleep over there. I'm just playing. LetYourWordsCount.com. Also, LYWC.channel on all social media platforms. By the way, if you have not done it already, if you're still watching, click the like button right now, please. That'll help us out a lot. That helps to build the algorithm so that we can bring this conversation to more people. Now we're going to go ahead and cut the cameras off, and we're going to get into an even deeper conversation. So we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
All right. God bless you.